Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the elect, the hopeful elect out there scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. To the sincere believers, the 1/3, all the Akim, all the sincere Akim and Akwath, shalom unto you. This is the brother Hadavyar from the GMS Toronto camp coming back at you with another one. This article is from the People's Voice, and it reads, U.S. pastors told to prepare now for UFO disclosure. You see, what the fuck is this? You see DJ right here, Esau. You see another Esau over here, um, who the world calls Jesus, Esau himself. And then over here, you have aliens, so, and then this is probably some type of spaceship or U.S. ship. So it says U.S. pastors told to prepare now for UFO disclosure, and there's no, the Bible talks about what these UFOs are. Those are chariots of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Our big bros, our brothers are are in those chariots, what the world calls UFOs. So it says, and they do not look like this. They look like, so-called Negroes. They have, humanly bodies, but on a next level. So religious leaders are claiming that they have been contacted by U.S. intelligence officers who have told them to prepare themselves for UFO disclosure that could undermine Christian beliefs. And you Christians don't even know what you believe in is already, the things you believe in already don't make any sense. So for whatever disclosure to come out, it just more proves that you Christians don't know the Bible, and you don't have that understanding. Influential U.S. pastors say that they have been told to prepare their followers for shocking revelations about UFOs, which could trigger a crisis in the belief in the Bible. And no, a belief into what y'all believe in. Because us, the hopeful elect, whatever disclosures that you're going to come out with, whatever lies that you're going to try to tell, it is not going to discourage us from believing in the Bible. Because we have teachers, our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They have taught us through the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai the correct understanding to the Bible. So we don't care. We don't care what what the these U.S. intelligent officers have to say about the UFOs. All they are trying to do is paint a picture, paint a narrative. Get people ready for their Project Bluebeam. Get people ready to be deceived by their different type of imagery, that they're probably soon, going to release. Project Bluebeam is a if you don't know, look it up. That's an old thing. That's old news. I first uh started learning about Project Bluebeam, in the man, I would say, the maybe the mid 2000s, you know, mid to late 2000, 2000 and yeah, to the early 2000s. I learned about Project Bluebeam. So, this is nothing new. This is just the devil scheming to bring forth whatever agenda that he has to bring forth. Steven Spielberg also happens to be releasing a film called Disclosure Day. And I seen that I seen that the other day too. It's a movie I'm definitely going to watch. But these devils know what they're doing. They're gonna release this movie, and then whatever information is that they release to these U.S. pastors, all it's going to do is you know trying to get these pastors in a certain mindset, and then these pastors are gonna go back to their congregation and just it's like the blind lead the blind. It's basically what it is. You know, the blind lead the blind, least they both fall into a ditch. That's exactly what's going on here with these U.S. officials and onward down to these U.S. pastors. It's just the blind leading the blind. They have no idea what it is that they're talking about. They don't know how to explain it. Um, read a little bit more of this. According to it's like man, allergies are kicking today. According to Stone, the officials warned a small group of pastors with a large reach in the Christian community that the government was about to release reports and possibly videos of aliens and spacecraft which were not from this planet. In April 27, video posted to his YouTube channel, the evangelist claimed that pastors were told about the existence of reptilian creatures, UFOs, and materials from non-human origin, and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie. So, this is what they're gonna, this is the image they're gonna try to push. You know, and us know, we us hopeful elect, um, you know, men of great millstone. You know, we know if for whatever reason, we start to see this man in the sky, you know, and this type of shit, it's fake. It's fake because we already know what the scriptures say. First of all, Yahweh Shai isn't gonna return. You know, Yahweh Shai don't look like this. He's a so-called black man with an afro, full beard, and uh, and and the angels don't look like this, because the angels are the ones piloting those UFOs. So, anyways, let me get a precept. This is Matthew 24, start at verse 23. And if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, Mashiach, who is Yahweh Shai, or there believe it not, for there shall arise false Mashiach and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, it so much, if it were possible, they will deceive the very elect. So that's exactly what they're going to be trying to do. They're going to deceive many people with whatever it is that they have in store, whatever it is that they're going to release. There's this, especially with the AI technology. If if they release some type of stuff, and this is, we've seen some green type of aliens and or some shit like that, we know that it could very well just be fake, and whatever it is that they release is not going to make us of the hopeful elect uh, not believe in the book, in the Bible, you know? It's not going to make us believe. And let me go back to that precept, bruh. Um, uh, for if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Yamash, let me just say Yahushai, I'll just say verbatim, if here is Christ, or there, believe not. So if they come and you see this man in the sky, if they try to push that, and it's I also find interesting, here it is, you know, the headline, U.S. pastors told to prepare now for UFO disclosure. Why is it that they have this image, in this photo, you know? What does this image have to do with UFOs? And that's why I say this, this could be them ready. This could be them ready to unveil their Project Bluebeam, because if we see this bum, if we see this bum in the sky, we already know, and we already understand the prophecies that certain things have to take place for the Savior, which his name is Yahushai, the Deliverer. Certain things have to take place for him to come back. So so that's what I'm saying. They can't deceive the elect at the end of the day. You know, they're gonna be out there deceiving everybody else, but the elect, the men of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, they're not gonna be deceived by Esau's bullshit. First Peter 4:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And the reason why I bring this precept out is because this devil is going to try to mislead a lot of people, into believing something that's fake, you know, this is, people, this could play a lot of ways, People won't want to believe in the Bible anymore. They'll just decide to, believe in the system, believe in whatever the government has to say. They could use this to push the acceptance of the MOTB, you know, saying it's not the, RFID chip, that saying that has nothing to do with it, you know, many different ways. This devil knows he has a short time, so he's going to do whatever it is that he can do in order to deceive many and to have many believe in whatever it is that he's saying, you know. And honestly, I hope they do. Lord willing, they release their Project Bluebeam. You know, they release some type of thing in the sky and have people and deceive people. That's just gonna give us more to talk about. That's just gonna give us uh, more. That's just gonna give us more things to do videos about and just link it up with the scriptures. Because we'll have the actual um, I'm pretty sure there'll be footage or images or pictures or whatever it is. Second Corinthians 2:11, the Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, you can't fool us with this shit. Talking about little aliens. You ain't gonna get us with that. Reptilians, creatures, UFOs, non-human origin. anything to anything to get people away from what the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai are speaking about. On February 19th, President Trump ordered the Pentagon and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to release all information the government possesses regarding UFO and alien life. Last week, Trump said that the first files would be released very, very soon and would contain some very interesting things for the public. Yeah, man, hurry up and release the files, yo. However, officials in the secret meeting allegedly said the information on its way may cause some Christians to question how the universe was created and even lose faith in the religion. Stone said, "You're going to have people who are going to say if there are galaxies, if there are allegedly other creations in the galaxies, then the whole creation story is a myth. And you're going to have people that are going to uh, apostatize and turn from Christian faith because they have no answer for what they're about to hear." Um, Going down, they're going to freak out. They're going to come to pastors, ministers, and teachers and say, "What is this? Is this really real?" And your damn pastor's going to have no answers for you. Or they're just going to be briefed into what to tell you. They're just going to be briefed into what to tell you, what to believe. And here it is. The men of Yahweh Shemel Shai can explain these things. Can explain these things and explain what these UFOs are and what they represent. You know, at the end of the day, that's our salvation. 2 Timothy 3:13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse, deceiving and being deceived. The Esau's waxing worse, trying to deceive people, and he's just getting started. It's gonna get worse. Watching that MOTB gets rolled out. You're gonna be deceiving mass amount of people into taking that, and into saying how beneficial it is going to be to take that. You know, and the men of Great Millstone are the only ones telling you not to take it, because these other false leaders out here, they're not telling the flock to not take that MOTB. They're not saying to not bow down to Esau's system. And instead, they're telling them to set communities up. How the MOTB is sin. All this other nonsense. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that deceive iniquity and work evil upon their beds when it is a morning, when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in their power. That's exactly what Esau's doing. He's scheming on ways to get to deceive people. To get them to believe something else. You know, if they release whatever it is that they release, and whatever they release could just very well just be some AI created video. You know, that looks real. And you're gonna have people, believing what they want to believe. And that's exactly it. Everyone's gonna believe what Esau has to say. In terms of the UFOs and whatnot. And that's why when it talks about Yahweh Shai coming as a thief of the night, people are gonna be shook. Because here it is, they're gonna push this. They're gonna push this and green alien reptile looking things. That's what they're gonna push. That's who they're gonna say is in those chariots. That's who they're gonna say is out there in the different galaxies. And then when Yahweh Shai cracks those clouds, you know, when the angels come, when our big bros come and make themselves known and their appearance is shown, people are gonna, yo, people are gonna be shook. People are gonna be so terrified when they see Yahushua, when they see a man, you know, a so-called black man, in all his glory and all his power. Yo, yo, count. So Lord willing, I'll make it to see that, to witness that, you know, to witness Yahushua and all the angels just come, and then people are gonna look at it and just heart attacks. They're gonna be like, "What the heck? We were told they look like this. So who was that? So who was that?" Yo, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be, and only the elect of Yahweh Shem El Shai are gonna know. They're the only ones that are not gonna be caught off guard. They're the only ones who are gonna see and understand what it is that is going on, and be throwing up praises, and giving all the glory to Yahweh Shem El Shai. While the rest of the world is just going to be in confusion, trying to make sense of everything, only to be met with severe judgment. So, you can't trust this devil. And that's why we are here to warn you. We're here to warn you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the indigenous